In the interest of making Cape Town a more inclusive and caring city, the City of Cape Town joined the UN Women's Safe Cities Global Initiative in August 2014. The aim of this global program is to assist local authorities to make cities safe and free from violence against women and girls. Hi, I'm Natalie Billings, an architect from the City of Cape Town's Transport Department, and it has been my pleasure to be part of the rollout of the global program in Cape Town. The City of Cape Town's chosen pilot community for this initiative is Atlantis, located in the northern border of the metropole. The focus is on improving the safety of women in accessing and using public transport. We are looking at actual safety, but also at perceptions of safety, how safe residents are and how safe they feel. I recently spoke to Mayor Patricia de Lille and asked her about the choice of Atlantis as the pilot community.
The City of Cape Town recently rolled out My City public transport network to Atlantis in order to effectively connect the people of Atlantis to each other as well as to the rest of the city. Now, while this service is significant in itself, we also want to make sure that there are no obstacles to accessing and using the service.
What is the significance of the collaboration with the UN?
The collaboration with the UN Women's Global Initiative allows us to identify what those obstacles might be and develop ideas for solving them. We shall do this in collaboration with women and men living in the community of Atlantis. The idea was to select a project that is not just an add-on, but one that we might learn from and embed in our work processes, so we might roll out these initiatives to other communities where violence is hampering our efforts for building an inclusive city.
So is Atlantis a community particularly affected by violence?
Atlantis is an area in the city that faces high rates of crime and violence, and significant interventions are needed to make women feel safer. And as a municipality which embraces collaboration and creativity, we have designed this intervention to engage community members, NGOs, city officials and designers. Our task is to identify the challenges and then come up with appropriate creative solutions or ideas to overcome the challenges. And finally, we need to implement solutions in an explorative and collaborative manner to ensure maximum engagement and sustainability.
Several activities were undertaken during the scoping phase of the pilot, including an environmental safety assessment of Atlantis to identify problematic areas, scoping of the current services provided by the city and our provincial partners, a stakeholder analysis to identify community and other organizations working in the area, a survey with staff working or living in Atlantis, and interviews with key informants. 2 workshops were held and attended by the community members, NGOs, civic organizations, officials from city line departments, and professional designers. At the first workshop, the Co-Discovery Workshop, more than 100 people were in attendance. Many who attended the workshop were the intended beneficiaries of the program, that is, women who live or work in Atlantis. There were also many men who attended and expressed a real desire to be involved in the positive change for the women of Atlantis. Following the design thinking methodology, the first workshop sought to develop a deeper understanding of the occurrence of violence within the Atlantis area, and to develop a strong sense of empathy for the circumstances of women and girls of the community. Experience has shown that acute empathy is at the heart of the best design interventions. And to achieve this, stories about violence and crime were shared, and crime maps were developed, showing the hotspots. Once the participants were sensitized to the environment, they developed several personas to help them feel what it would be like to be a woman or girl living in Atlantis and what problems she would encounter. Animated discussions took place as the various characters took shape. Participants then undertook a walkabout through Atlantis, reflecting on how their chosen character might experience the environment. Where, for instance, did she feel most threatened? Where did she feel safe? What did she wish was in place to make her journey easier? The workshop concluded with a consolidation of the observations from the walkabout, with each group presenting their ideas for how areas visited could be improved. A second co-design workshop was held 3 weeks later. This workshop built on the first by giving the group the opportunity to develop plans for safer commuting for women and children. The workshop started with a review of material covered during the first workshop. Participants were then tasked with exploring how problems could be turned into opportunities as they imagined what a safe commute would be like. They were also invited to make the workshop experience more real by designing action plans for a safer commute. These action plans were then handed over to the project team for implementation in the next phase of the program. I asked Mayor DeLille about the ideas that came from the 2 workshops that were held.
The ideas that have been generated through these 2 workshops have not only helped to highlight what has to change, but also engage the city administration and the community in a partnership to make change happen. We will ensure that the city's involvement in realizing these plans is prioritized. We also look forward to working side by side with the community to help them develop initiatives that will complement our efforts.
So you believe that Cape Town can make a valuable contribution to this program?
As part of the global initiative, the City of Cape Town has the opportunity to learn from the community in Atlantis and to share these findings with other cities across the globe. We are part of a global community of cities working to make public spaces accessible and safe for women and girls.